All right, Waiters, thanks for joining us today. I know you spoke to Carlton Media in the immediate aftermath of the elimination final. What are your thoughts a couple of days on from that?
It's a very broad question, but still some, a little bit bitter and frustrated, I guess, with the way it ended. To go back to sort of where it all finished last year was a great challenge for our group and something that I felt was probably needed. And, we had a group that was really motivated to go up and try and do a job. And unfortunately, I guess from what compounded throughout the season, which was inconsistencies in many areas, behaviour, like on-field behaviours, consistent with our identity was probably something that we just couldn't quite hit throughout the year. And when good teams simply don't lose sort of 2 games in a row, and we're going through patches where I think we had a great patch there where we defended really well. We kept teams under 75 points, and then we let 100 points slip through in a couple of weeks in a row. So we just didn't value the right things consistently enough. And as I said, just quite frustrating to know that we can go to a level like we did back end of last year and get to a prelim final off the back of pressure and contest and some really good team football, and we just didn't do it enough this year.
What was the review like of the game and the sort of messages that came from that?
Again, the game itself was a very hard one to watch. The first half, we simply just didn't turn up in basically any part of the game. Stoppages, defensively, offensively, we weren't working for each other, and we played team game for a reason. And I sort of mentioned our identity. It certainly wasn't there from the start, and you've got to give a lot of credit to a team like Brisbane, who have made the finals now 6 years in a row. They've been to a grand final last year. They've got 270, 280 odd finals games under their belt combined, and we're well under half of that. So you can sort of put a bit of perspective on it, especially in the last 3 years, and sort of say how far we've come. 9th in 2022, 5th in 23, and then we probably left ourselves a little short, obviously finishing 8th and putting ourselves in a position where we really had to fight with our backs against the wall. So the game itself, again, just frustrating and annoying that we didn't turn up to, I guess, play our best football, and the better team won on the day.
So now in terms of your pre-season, what kind of focuses will that set up looking to next year?
Yeah, I think it provides a lot of motivation. If you're not hungry after a season and I guess a final like that, you probably shouldn't be playing the game. So I know for a fact that the leadership group hugely motivated to get the best out of ourselves. We're sort of in that age bracket, I guess. Some would say a lot of guys are going into their sort of prime age of football. We've got some really motivated young guys that are improving as well. And I know that just refining parts of our game is something that we'll be looking at closely over the pre-season. And I've got full confidence in the way we play the game and the way we play our brand of football, that blue-collar identity. And if we can do that consistently, and I know it's not a cliche word, but it's something that we have been unable to do throughout the last couple of years, we can take it up against anyone. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity to get better, both as an individual and as a team. And defensively, I know that's probably going to be front of mind, and pretty excited for that.
Kind of just sort of led into my next question about consistency. How do you and the group actually go about achieving consistency?
Habits, believe it or not. We are what we repeatedly do, and then it's not an act but a habit. That was a quote by Aristotle that Bossy put up a number of times this year. And again, the inconsistencies will be sort of looked at in all facets of the game and as an individual. And this is what the off-season's for. It's a great opportunity for you yourself to get better, whether it's 1%, 5%, 10% for some in their younger days. So if we get that right, come back in really good nick. And as I said, if we do all the right things really well defensively and through our identity with pressure and contest, I'm sure we'll be a very consistent and good football side.
And for you personally, you had a really strong year and you achieved your first All-Australian selection. Where do you go in 2025, and how do you go about elevating your own game as well as elevating the games of others?
Yeah, it's a good question. You sort of it's something that I think all players aspire to be their absolute best, and I don't think I'm sort of near that. I think I'm still scratching the surface a little bit. It's obviously great to achieve individual accolades along the way, and it gives you, I guess, good recognition of your hard work and all the support that you've had on the way through. So very happy to get one in the cupboard, but at the same time, it's not about getting 2 or 3, it's about getting a premiership, and my role in that is being a leader of this football club and being the best defender I can be, and hopefully I've got a long time to come, whether it's 5, 10 years, who knows. Players tend to be playing a bit longer nowadays, so I just want to be a part of a great football club, a consistent football club that wins premierships, and ultimately I'll do my utmost to be the best I can be.
Early on in the season, you had a few niggles, few little sore parts throughout. What were the what was your mindset going into each game, knowing that you're playing really sore?
Yeah, it's part of the game. I think most players don't play at 100% post sort of round 0, round 1. So my frustrations probably come with their somewhat uncontrollable, in that a knee to the quad is going to cause some trauma and a bit of bleeding for me, and had to play a few games. Yes, a little bit sore there, but I'm lucky in a sense that I play fullback, and my role is simply to provide a good contest, win or halve, and try and take away the influence of the key forward there. So if it was a midfielder or a ruck, it'd be a little bit harder, but it's all part of the game. Felt like I worked through it reasonably well, and certainly learned some good lessons on how to make someone else better, which is pretty critical when you're not going so well yourself, and I'll continue to do that.
And what about the wider team or any of your defenders? Who do you think's really grown and taken a step this year?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think a lot of guys with some challenges and lack of continuity and consistency as a team, and even through injuries, some guys really stood up. I thought Nick Newman again, just off the back of his year last year, which was very close to All-Australian calibre again. He led the way with the way he goes about it. He's a hardened, aggressive sort of guy, and probably his fines record suggests that. He's had to cop a little bit this year, but he plays with an edge, and we love him for that. And another guy that's probably really stood up, and I think he's going to be a fantastic footballer and has all the tools and the weapons to be an All-Australian calibre sort of player, is Lachie Cowan. He's a quiet sort of kid and just goes about his business, but he plays the right way. He does the right stuff for the team, and he's been an absolute pleasure to play with this year. So hopefully he can just get that little bit better, 5-10%, and he's going to become a very good footballer in time.
And you talked about the fluctuations sort of through the defensive group with personnel. How does your role change depending on who's in the team?
Yeah, there's definitely elements of that. I mean, I've played years where we've had 15 to 20 guys roll through the back line, and this year was not quite that, but there was 12, 13, 14 guys that rolled through, and it is hard to get that continuity and chemistry, which I felt we had at the back end of last year. And stats say that when you do get that chemistry right, we're sort of a top 2, top 3 defence. So looking at turnover defence, stoppage defence, D50 defence, like we were very good last year, and I think that hurt us a little bit this year. So if we can get a consistent 7 or 8 guys that go through there. You need 35 guys to win a premiership, but it's always nice to have guys that do a job each week. So hopefully we can get that.
You had Charlie join the leadership group this year.
Mm-hmm.
How did he sort of fit in with his first year with you guys, and then what did he bring to the team as well?
Charlie's great. There's a reason he was sort of voted into the leadership group. He brings a different perspective. He's a different character, much like his brother, a bit more alternative, on the funner side, I guess, compared to myself and some others. But he doesn't probably even understand how much of an influence he has on the group, and even his leadership, the way he goes about himself, his professionalism, and clearly it's pretty obvious he's one of the best players in the AFL. So to have him in the leadership group, I think was a great step for us and gave us different ideas and perspective on things, and he'll continue to improve in that role, which is really exciting for him in his football.
You mentioned before that you've been through quite a bit in terms of ladder position. You've been at the club 10 years almost.
Yeah.
The 18th finishes and then the 9th and the 5th. What would it mean to you and the group to bring success to Carlton?
I won't know till I get there, but I think the adversity and the challenges that we've been through are hardening us for sort of what's to come. And I sort of mentioned the games played in finals that Brisbane have in terms of the experience they have. 270, 280 games combined experience is a lot of games played in the harshest sort of environment you can play in our game. So for us to continue to get those experiences, we need to be consistent, as I said, but at the same time, leaders need to stand up. And for the guys that have been around a long time, they really want to, bring success, obviously, to this club, but we've got to do it together and do it as one. So it takes from everyone down from the president down to the person that runs the water on game day. So very much looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully I'm a part of it for a long time to come.
What does Stronger Together and pulling on the navy blue jumper mean to you?
Yeah, it's probably, I've elaborated a little bit on it all, but for us, you can lose perspective a little bit and just think that you are the one person that's either failing or succeeding on the field, and it takes a lot more than just the 24 players that go out and kick the football around on game day. So every week it takes, the physios, the medical staff, the footy department itself upstairs to get everything going, the fans at home, the 106,000 supporters that we have that are signed up to support us each week, our families, our friends. So Stronger Together is having a higher purpose, and I think we are embracing that as a football club more and more, and that's going to help us achieve the ultimate success in future. So if we can continue to, abide by that term and, live by the values and behaviours that are appropriate to that, success will come, I'm sure.
Are you looking forward to a big off-season of wedding planning?
Isabel didn't ask you that, did she? No wedding planning as such. I've left all the engagement planning up to my partner Isabel. Engaged during the year, so very happy about that, but I'm not too sure about sort of what's next. I'll leave that up to her, I think.
All right, thank you, Waiters.
Cheers, guys.